Hey all, and welcome into a new video. Today we'll be going through all of the bosses in the base game of Elden Ring, and I'll be sharing my opinion on their design and how much I liked fighting them. Um, this video is going to have a lot of strong opinions. I've not made it a secret that I really don't like the boss design in Elden Ring. Um, but we are going to go through all of them. I'm going to share my thoughts on them. I'm going to try and blitz through some of the less important ones. Um, and yeah, let's get in. No, disclaimer first. This is not going to be based on difficulty. This is not going to be, um, it's going to be based on what the fight's purpose is in the game. Does it fulfill that? Is it interesting to fight? That sort of thing. So, for example, abductor virgins, two abductor virgins. That that's not meant to be a main story boss, right? So I can be a bit more lenient on it. But it's an annoying enemy that they just throw two at you at the same time. It's big whoop. It's not meant to be interesting. Something like Aiden FIFA Fire is like he's a Everjail boss, right? So he's passable. There's nothing wrong with this fight, but it's not interesting, right? It's a B grade. It's passable. Electo, Black Knife Ringleader. Another Everjail boss is kind of interesting, but it's all of the other Black Knife assassin fights. I think Electo specifically has like the health burning, like the grey health mechanic. That's also possible. I'll put it above Aiden. Now, Ancestor Spirit. It's a very easy fight, but the atmosphere, the effort, the build up for that fight is really good. It's one of my favorite fights, simply because of the music, the whole like setting of it. I'll probably put the Regal Ancestor Spirit somewhere similar. Yeah. Ancient Dragon Lanso. This is the guy that you fight in the Altus Plateau. The first time you fight him, he sort of runs away, and it's like, he's all right. I'd say that's. I don't like it when they just run away from you and you have, they're half health. So I'll say that's possible. Ancient Hero of Zamor, also possible. This B rank is going to be very full up with just okay bosses. Ancient Hero of Zamor is fun. They become a regular enemy once you get to the snowfield. The thing with the Zamor, Ancient Hero of Zamor, is that once you figure out how to stagger them, they are very, very easy. Astel, Natural Born of the Void. I really enjoyed fighting Astel. So I'd say it's bordering upon S. I don't think there's any attack of Astel's where I'm like, that's just stupid. I think there is one attack where he like sort of teleports away and grabs you, which is a bit dumb, and I guess you just have to learn the timing for that, but I'd put that in S. A lot of these bosses as well, it's a very long list. I'd say this also includes DLC bosses, so up to about here. If I haven't seen them, or like maybe some of them I have seen, but like they're very similar to something else I've done on the list, then I've put them at the bottom and we won't be counting them. What am I doing? Here we are. Beastman of Faramazula. It's just a regular enemy again. I'd say it's even, it's too boring. Bell-bearing Hunter. He was always threatening. He was always hard to kill. And I'd say he's a good boss because of that. Because you knew why you were losing and you knew it was your fault that you were losing. I'd say he's a good fault. There, he's a good fight. Blackblade Kindred. This is one of the gargoyles. Please redesign this. any gargoyle boss is going to go D rank or worse. The only reason I'm not putting it in F is because the Valiant Gargoyle duo is going to be here. Spoiler alert. Black Knife Assassin, you can go right next to Electo. Bloodhound Knight, you can also go here with like regular enemy bosses. Borealis is the dragon in the snowfield, which creates all the snow, which is a good idea in theory, but in practice the fight is just annoying because you can't see shit and you can't run past him. Really. Burial Tree Watchdog, I like the design of these bosses. Again, we're back to purpose. The purpose of this fight isn't to be like this all-encompassing, larger-than-life figure. It's supposed to be something uncanny and threatening, and it does that well. The head movements were very jagged, like jumps and slashes. It's very mechanical. And two of them at the same time. We'll move these to the bottom. It would be the same place. Down you go. Cemetery Shade also does its job, but the thing with Cemetery Shades is that they die in 2 hits and they kill you in 2 hits, so I don't think it fulfills the role that it's meant to. 2 Clean Rot Knights. We'll just move Clean Rot Knights to the bottom. Singular Clean Rot Knight, you're fine, I guess. You're just a regular enemy. And I'll put that there because, yeah, just a regular enemy. Like, they're a regular enemy since, like, Caelid. So, having them as a boss is just annoying. Commander Nile, please redesign him. Cool design. He has no openings. None whatsoever. It's so annoying to fight him. Commander O'Neill, he was a bit better. He was like the ad spawning, but you have your horse in that fight, so I'm willing to say he's up there with the Ancient Dragon. 1 Crucible Knight, that's probably one of my favorite bosses. 2 Crucible Knights, that has problems. We'll put it at the top of C. 1 Crystallian is passable. 3 Crystallians, surprisingly also passable. 1 Deathbird is all of these are just passable, The Deathrite Bird, I kind of have problems with. I think I put it there because it has a lot more bullshit attacks. King Xeeks. I like all the dragons in this game. They're really fun. We have a few demi-human queens. They're alright. They're also possible. They do their job, but I'll be categorizing them all the same way. Demi-human chiefs. These are just regular enemies, man. And the first time we fight them, it's like when you're really under level during the coastal cave, and it's like it's a stat check, and I don't really like stat check fights in this game. Let's see. Draconic Tree Sentinel, up you go, brother. Dragonkin Soldier. This guy has a real problem with hitboxes. Like a real problem with hitboxes. You'll go up to his belly and you'll swing at him. Like you'll be pressed into his face. Or his stomach, I guess. You'll swing your gigantic curved sword and you'll miss. And it's not good. Dragon Lord Placidusax. I'd put you up there. Honestly. I'd say you're good. Elmo of Briar, that's just a bell-bearing hunter. Although I didn't die to him as much as the bell-bearing hunters, I don't know. The Erdtree Avatar. Where do we put you? It's an interesting one. It's not the Putrid Avatar. We'll put it there. Good design. It's when you get to the Putrid Avatars and, some of their rot attacks that you really get to see some of the more bullshit, 3-headed Burial Watchdogs. It's just a Burial Watchdog, but more. You can go there. In fact, you guys can go to the bottom, I think. Falling Star Beast. I think this one is in a very constrained arena, which is not, that's a problem because this guy has massive attacks. We'll put you there. Fell Twins, regular enemies, and bad enemies at that. So give them some unique attacks, please. Fierce Champion, that's just NPCs. The Fire Giant. I didn't have too much trouble on my first go, but like I played like Fire Giant. I 100%ed the game, by the way, in terms of achievements. So I've had the pleasure of fighting Fire Giant again. I had more trouble with him later on. I guess New Game Plus sort of things, you know. But overall, I think I like Fire Giant. He controls the space. He's something different. And you have, you know, the classic, like hit the weak spot kind of boss. You have the, what's his name? High Lord Walnir school of hit the bands on the ankle or wrist, you know. So yeah, and the fire attacks, you get to see Aiden's Flame of a Fell God being used by a fire giant, which is sort of a point. We have a lot of the dragons, so let's just get through them. Agil is great. Grail, I don't remember where Grail is, but you know, he's probably fine. I think that's a Kaled one, maybe. Adula is annoying because he sort of runs away from you. You can put you up there. And Smaragd is the one guarding the key to Relicaria, so you can go up there too. The first encounter with Agil is so fun because you hear the swamp people like chanting Agil, Agil, and then he comes crashing down and kills them all. It's hilarious. Now the Frenzied Duelist. I think the Frenzied Duelist is a bit boring but very passable. He gets the threat across of a guy with a big weapon who's swinging it and it's on chains and you have to sort of get around him. So I think he does well. Now, the fully grown Falling Star Beast. I had so much trouble with this guy, but at the same time, looking back on it, it was probably one of the better fights. It's better than the Falling Star regular beast in the tiny arena, because in this one you also get your horse as well. It's a really cool boss on like the top of a mountain like plateau. So the arena is really cool. I'd say this one, no, definitely not there. This one gets good design, I think. I think you go above the dragons. I think Fire Giant also goes above the dragons. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Godfrey the Grafted. This is an imitation Godric. We can just put that to the bottom. Godfrey's Golden Shade. It was good. But let's see. Where would I put it? Where would I put it? 1 second. Right, I'm back. And we're back with Godfrey. See, Godfrey's a strange one because the next one's going to be first Elden Lord Godfrey and the second phase Horalu. Now, I didn't much like the second phase of Godfrey, so I'm going to treat this Golden Shade Godfrey as the first stage, which I would put as one of my favorite fights in the game. And I'm going to treat the second one as both, or as the second stage, which I say is possible. I'm gonna get to it when we get to some of the other bosses where I have a problem with them, but basically I'm going to have a bit of a chat about difficulty and challenge in games, and what the optimal level for that is. Godric the Grafted, I had a lot of trouble with Godric because I don't think I had the stats for the fight when I first went in. I got very annoyed that he just kept swinging and swinging. As I progressed with the game, I sort of realized he's not that bad. There's only one annoying attack, and that's the wind one, which is instant. But I'd say you get up there. Good for you, Godric. Godskin Apostle. I love Godskin Apostle. I spent so long in that, under-leveled as well, in the Caled Divine Tower. And yeah, died a lot to him, but I still had a lot of fun. And the thing is, dying to a boss, it doesn't matter to me. I don't mind dying to bosses if it's a boss where I don't mind dying to them, and that's usually the ones where I enjoy fighting them, and it feels like when I make mistakes, it's my fault. When the mistakes feel like the game's fault, and there's no fault at all on my end, that's when I just get annoyed. And that's sort of the whole thing about like accountability and thinking that you're better than what you are, and you have to be able to look at yourself in a critical eye to see if was that really your fault, or are you just angry that you died, sort of thing. But Godskin Apostle, it did well. Godskin Noble has problems, let me tell you. That is not a fun boss to fight. Especially the Roly Poly move, which goes on for 17 years, and you can't roll out of the way of reliably. It's just spaghetti of the fight. Godskin Duo. Godskin Duo is between Godskin Noble and Godskin Apostle, go figure. Because you can just ignore the Godskin Noble and just fight the Godskin Apostle. So I'd put it in possible, probably on the high end of possible. Because at the end of it, when you get the, actually, I don't know, put it maybe at the lower end of possible. It's better than like all of these. So it's just a problem of communication, that fight. You don't know if you have to kill one of them or both of them, or because when one of them respawns for the first time, you're like, oh, I have to kill them both at the same time so they can't respawn each other, right? No. You have to just whittle down their health bar. I think what the big problem with this fight is that one of the bosses revives the other. And that communicates to you that it's the bosses reviving each other and not them just being respawned as it is naturally. I don't remember much about it, but I think like the final boss in Dark Souls 2 is like a similar thing where it's two bosses and you have to kill them both at once or something like that. I didn't play Dark Souls 2. I seen a playthrough of it, but I avoided that one because I didn't, and this is going to be a controversial thing to say, I didn't really enjoy Dark Souls 1. There were moments of it which were great, and as a level designer myself, I think the level design in that game is astronomically like revolutionary, I didn't enjoy most of the game though, and a lot of it was really annoying. Grafted Scion though, removed from the game. Gravewarden Duelist, that's just a frenzy duelist but with extra steps. Great Worm Theodorix, a lot of Great Worms. This is the one that we did the Squid Battle Royale, and the fact that you can do that at all is really fun to me, so you get up there. Guardian Golem is possible, it's just a regular enemy. Let's put you up a bit. Let's put you next to this guy. Kindred of Rot, remove just these enemies from the game. Lamenter, I don't think that's part of base game. I might be wrong. That might be something I didn't see, or I've forgotten the name of it, but yeah. Leonine Misbegotten, it's possible. He's just an enemy. He's like the ancient hero of Zamor in the fact that you figure out you can stagger him and he dies. Lich Dragon Fortis Axe. Unfortunately, I didn't get to fight this guy at an appropriate level. I sort of just crushed him. So I will assume that it's good design, and I'll put you up there with all the other dragons because I didn't have any problem with it at the time. Loretta, Knight of a Halig Tree. I love all of the horse fights. Not all of them. I didn't quite like the Knights Cavalry, but Loretta and all the Tree Sentinels, I love them so much. Mad Pumpkin Heads are annoying. Like the gimmick, oh, you can't hit their head is fun until you realize you can't really control what you hit as a character in an Elden Ring game, because you can't really control where your sword goes. You just swing and hope it doesn't hit their head. And I guess we'll do this. Magma Worm Macabre, the first Magma Worm you can encounter, I think. He's an interesting one. Has a really cool arena. I'd say this is the last Magma Worm we're going to talk about, in case there are any more on this list. But I'd say you can go with good design, because I enjoyed fighting this guy, and I can't be too mad at him because he gives me the Magma Worm Scale Sword, which is the weapon that we used for most of the game. Now, Melania, Blade of Mikola. This is a really hard one to judge because I love this fight so much that it's really punishing in all the right ways, except for one way, and that's Waterfowl Dance. Everything about this fight, from the setup to the threat of a fight and all of the build up to this regular, like, it looks like a regular person, but no, behind that simple armor and, you know, battle scars and amputated arm, that's the goddess of rot, but Waterfowl Dance knocks this from an S to an A, I think, because that move, it's avoidable, but you need to experiment so much to be able to know how to avoid it. It's bordering on bullshit, and it's on the other side of the line of bullshit. And speaking of bullshit, here's Malekith Black Blade. I'd say Malekith, it has problems. I'm not going to be as harsh on Malekith. I think the problems with Malekith is that some of his moves are just completely bullshit. Like the Blade Beam move, how do you avoid that? Who knows? When it works really well, but his moves are so explosive and fast in their startup that you don't have any chance to avoid them, and it's just like, oh, hooray, I've beaten the Beast Clergyman. It's time to go on to the second stage. Oh, he did a spin move and I'm dead. Okay, next try. Oh well. The Beast Clergyman as well is just not an interesting fight. He has some... He's just dodge. Oh, you think you have a parry a punish window? No, you don't. Dodge. You hit him once. So the optimal strategy I found was to stand there with a shield, let him just run into his face with a shield up, let him tucker himself out, and hit him once. and then just take the chip damage on shield from all of his spells, because it's not a fun fight. Beast Clergyman, and then Malekith. If it was Malekith on his own, he might even be in B, but because you have to fight Beast Clergyman before you even get a chance to fight Malekith, and you go through this 5-minute slog of fighting Beast Clergyman only to get one shot by Malekith every single time, is just so annoying. It's such annoying, like, boss design. I'd say I need to be careful with what I say here, because one of my favorite fights in Dark Souls 3 is Nameless King. Nameless King starts off with a fight against the King of the Storms, and the King of the Storms is him riding a dragon. It's a completely different fight, and I feel like in this game they really failed. They really failed at fights with 2 phases, which the first phase is a completely different fight from the second phase, if you get what I mean. So, like, the first phase is Beast Clergyman, the second phase is Blackblade. Because fights are so much quicker, bosses do so much more damage, and they have so many more, like, one-shot mechanics, fights go so quickly, you'll have like 10 heals left and you'll die because you got an unlucky string of attacks and you just perish. It's endemic of a problem. I think that's how you say it. Whatever. The problem with Malekith is you die so quickly and you're left with nothing learned. You don't feel like you've gone out of it. It's like, oh, I should have done that. You go out of Malekith thinking, oh, I just need to take cocaine and dodge on reaction better. It's just not fun, Margit is good. Again, I was very annoyed with him because he just sort of keeps swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging. Margit is the first boss that really highlights this like custom combo design that they have. Like, he'll attack and then he'll like hold out a hand behind himself, and if you're near him, he'll suddenly conjure his magic sword and start swinging again. If you're far away from him, he'll be like, okay, I don't need to continue with this combo, sort of thing. Which is cool, but it's not fun to fight because he just keeps swinging and he has no hint of a stamina bar and he just keeps going. So there's the openings that you find are always trades. I mean, something that's really cool about Dark Souls bosses, that you should be able to beat them if you are good enough, hitless on the first go, if you're godlike. And I don't think these bosses adhere to that design at all. So it's very borderline, like top of B, bottom of A. I'll put it top of B because Morgott is coming soon, and I think because Margit exists, Morgott is better. Mimic Tier is just you, so that's just passable. It's a cool idea, having to fight yourself. But it's just an NPC invasion, but they use your weapon, and you're smarter than NPC, hopefully. Misbegotten Crusader is just Leonine Misbegotten, but faster. He's cool. He also gave me one of the weapons that I use now, or I used near the end of the playthrough. So I put him there. I'll bump him up a bit because he was fun. Now the text is really small here, so let's Misbegotten Warrior and Crucible Knight. Okay, so this is a Redmane Castle. This is just a gank fight. It wasn't too bad, but it's just possible. Misbegotten Warrior and Trisha, same thing. It's a gank fight. Who cares? Now, Morgoth, Lord of Blood. I love Morgoth. Might be, or what am I saying? Morgoth, Mog, Lord of Blood is probably one of my favorite fights in the game. It's so good. It's even, I even overlook the bullshit thing where you have to find the blood tier in some godforsaken corner of Altus Plateau to nullify his second stage transformation, because that is bullshit, and there should have been some sort of hint for that. Mog destroyed me for a while, and I didn't understand him. I was getting angry at it, and then he like kicked me into a several month break from Elden Ring, and when I got back, I got right back to fighting him, and I sort of started to understand his patterns, when to punish, his timings, and it was, in the end, I really enjoyed it. And Mog the Omen is the one you fight in the catacombs or the subterranean, and yeah, he's basically the same as Mog, but he doesn't have a second phase, which is really cool. And you have to do a lot of um, area control. For this fire, you get to have to back up sometimes, and sometimes you have to be aggressive to fight into him because your back's against the wall. It's good. It's good. Now Morgoth's one of the cooler fights in the game. Again, he has the same problems as Margit, but now that you've seen what Margit can do, it's one of the coolest fights in the game, and it's almost enough to make me overlook some of the problems with it. I'd say I probably put him there. I'd probably put Crucible Knight down a bit. Crucible Knights, the sword and shield ones are so fun to fight. Once you get their timing a bit down, and you sort of understand how they work and their AI, and how they will never let you heal unless you run a country mile away from them. It's kind of funny. Yeah. A Necromancer Garrus. We've gone from Morgoth to Necromancer Garrus. Whatever, dudes. You were a guy that did things. You were completely inconsequential. Knights Cavalry, though. I said I didn't really like Knights Cavalry. They're cool, but they only come out at night, and they have wide sweeping attacks. And you can get them off their horse and slam them while they're down. So it's kind of fun, but I don't know. I didn't quite enjoy them as much as the other horseback battles. I feel like you could fight a Tree Sentinel on horseback and you could enjoy it. Loretta was designed to be without horse. Knights Cavalry, you can use your horse against them, but it's probably not very well advised because their weapons are colossal and their swings go everywhere. It's yeah, not the greatest. Okay, Nox Swordstress and Nox Priest. I think this is by Celia, Town of Sorcery in Caelid. I think this is possible. It's not very interesting. Omen Killer was annoying, but it's a regular enemy, but it has the 2 dogs with it, 3 dogs even. Onyx Lord, it's boring. It doesn't do what it's set out to do. They're not interesting. They're not, they don't have good design. They're not anything really. Patches, you get an S rank because obviously it's Patches. The fight starts with you stealing from him, and he'd be like, "You greedy guts, have you no shame taking another man's belongings?" And then you hit him twice. It's like, "No, I yield." And you you take mercy on him, and he's Patches, so everyone loves Patches. Putrid Avatar has problems. Mainly the Scarlet Rot attack is completely bullshit and impossible to see. A big problem I had with a lot of the fights in this game is you can't see the particle effects for poison or rot a lot of the time, and it's just annoying. Putrid Tree Spirit, just remove it. Just all of the tree spirits, remove them. They are such bullshit. They're not fun to fight. They're just complete chaos, and you just sort of have to face tank them. And they have that annoying grab attack and whatever. Putrid Grave Warden Duelist. It's the same as the other Grave Warden Duelist, I'm sorry to say. Radagon and the Elden Beast. Final bosses. I don't like Radagon. His attacks are so strange. His regular swings have this sort of melodic rhythm to them, which make them really annoying. They have no weight behind them. He's just sort of swinging in this, like, this really drawn out motion, which you don't expect to hit as hard as it does, and then it's slower than you think, so you always get hit by it. The area of effects, like things he does, is really annoying to dodge. Sometimes you think you can jump it, sometimes you can't. Sometimes when you dodge through it, it doesn't work, and sometimes you go to punish him after he's done the area effect, and the area effect explodes a second time. It's annoying. I'd say Elden Beast I enjoy more, simply for the fact that you can have Torrent in the fight with you, except for one attack, which is the Sword Beam attack. The Blade Beam attack, if you're on your horseback, it will, knock you off your horse and kill you. But certain attacks, you need to be on your horse for that. And it overlaps with... yes. So sometimes there are attacks where you need to be on your horse and some that you need to be off your horse. And those two attacks overlap. It's like, hey, the stars are coming down from the sky. You need to be on your horse to evade this. We're also going to throw blade beams at you. So you need to be running away from the stars. Also, you need to be off your horse, but you also need... blah, 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 blah. So, has problems. Possible redesign. I didn't like it. Red Wolf of Radagon. I like the Red Wolf of Radagon. He has really interesting attacks. He doesn't overstay his welcome. His attacks are already telegraphed, and it's really cool. You get like a Sith-like fight. I'd say this is good design. Regal Ancestor Spirit. It's just the Ancestor Spirit plus. It has one annoying attack where it heals, but it's not too bad. It's not really a hard fight anyway, so you don't really get too much of that. I don't think that's part of the game. Renala, Queen of a Full Moon. I'd say this is good design. It's a regular caster. I'd say the only thing that holds it back really is the fact that it summons bullshit on you. It's like, why was that necessary to the fight? To have a Bloodhound Knight, a Giant, a Dragon, Wolves just assault me in the middle of the fight? It's just things that blemish the fight. It's like a lot of the design philosophy in Elden Ring was throw shit at the wall and, just keep it. The first Loretta fight, it's not as good, but it's still good. Royal Revenant, delete it. Rune Bear, redesign. Rune Bears, they look cool. They're just, again, bullshit. Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. Please, for the love of God, redesign this fight. it's Bed of Chaos mixed with Yorm the Giant. Now, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make the Stormruler gimmick into an actual fight, and I love that about the fight. However, the boss fight itself, the attacks that first, God Devouring Serpent. That thing has another poison attack, which is impossible to see where the poison particles are. Then you get to Rykard, and it's just vomit all over the screen. You're getting attacked by skulls coming in from your front. You're getting attacked by fire trails above the top. You're getting hit by like lava below, and you're getting hit by swings in the medium. There are attacks coming from everywhere, everything everywhere all at once. Your swords, your spear that does the wind attacks, the range is just okay. It's supposed to be a really cool sword that helps you in the fight, and its range is just annoyingly not enough. The weapon art is so annoying because you hit them with the first hit, the one that doesn't do as much damage, and you hit them out of the second hit. In what world is that well designed that your first attack basically disqualifies your actual damage? So it's just a really annoying fight to me. And I know some people really love it, and, more power to them, And apparently you can also upgrade the spear to deal more damage with the wind attack, which I didn't think was possible, but, fair enough, whatever. But honestly, it ain't it, Chief. Absolutely not. Sanguine Noble, it's a regular enemy, it's possible. Scaly Misbegotten, like this is a regular enemy, but it's not possible. It's just a guy. Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. Now, the thing about Gideon Ofnir is that he's a caster who gains like spells depending on the Lords of Cinder. I was about to say, what are they? The Shard Bearers that you've defeated, which is a cool gimmick. There's nothing wrong with him, but he is weak foe ahead, like the definition of weak foe ahead. So he's at the top of possible. Soldier of God, Rick. That's an S tier fight. He does a great job of teaching you the game. Spirit Caller Snail. It's a gimmick to figure out, hey, the bosses are being spawned on you, and killing the bosses being spawned on you isn't going to help. So find out the thing. It's possible. Star Scourge Radahn. You get right there next to Rykard. What is fun about a fight where the boss pulls your camera to the sky, has no good telegraphs, and has attacks that are 20 times larger than you? Nothing. What is fun about a fight where you run around on your horse and summon NPCs to do all the damage for you and tank for you? Cool gimmick. It's not fun. I fucking hate this boss. He looks so cool, but why does he have to? It's just so annoying, man. These bosses look so cool. They could have been so much more, but instead they're just, again, vomit on the screen. And that was the Elden Ring boss design philosophy. Vomit. Pageantry over practicality. And it's so disappointing. Stone Digger Troll, you're just a guy. Tibia Mariner, you're passable. You summon skeletons. Good for you, man. Double Tree Sentinel. That was, I mean, regular Tree Sentinel will put you up with a Draconic one. Double Tree Sentinel was fun. It's a gank boss though, so but you know, I enjoyed fighting both of them. Ulcerated Tree Spirit, remove it. Valiant Goggles, remove it. Vike, I think that's Vike. Yeah, he was. I mean, if I was an NPC summon more than a boss, right? I don't remember if we actually fight him as a boss, but you know, he was fine. He was possible. And Wormface was disgusting, but you know, you survive. I think it's not really interesting. Him versus, in the interest of not making this go down another line and having it all fit on one screen. Let's do that. All right. So, according to this tier list that I picked up, that should be all of the bosses. All of the other ones, I don't think I ever met, or they're duplicates, or they're part of a DLC, or whatever. So, I'm going to do this really quickly. Yeah, there you are. So yeah, that was my Elden Ring boss tier list. In our S tier, we have Mog, Astel, Morgott, the Tree Sentinels, Crucible Knight, Dragon Lord, Placidus X, the first phase of Godfrey, Godskin Apostle, Loretta, and the Regal Ancestor Spirit, as well as these two handsome fellas right here. In the delete this from the game, we have the double abductor virgins, grafted scion. That's a bit harsh for these things, I think. I mean, this boss fight shouldn't be, definitely, but you know, grafted scion. It's just all of the fights where it's just vomit on the screen. And you're like, hey, dodge 17 attacks at once. No, just cease with this, please, for the next Elden Ring, or for Night Rain, if you're making new bosses for Night Rain. I don't know about how Shadow of the Erdtree turned out. Probably the same as Elden Ring, but please stop, cease this road that you're going down. Because here's the thing about bosses. Here's the thing about Dark Souls and Elden Ring, for that matter. I would encompass Elden Ring into Dark Souls at this point. Because they're basically the same game, but with a different coat of paint, I guess. I wouldn't say Bloodborne is the same as Dark Souls, but Elden Ring is basically Dark Souls, but in a new world. The thing about Dark Souls is the draw of Dark Souls is not fighting difficult bosses. It's defeating the sense of achievement you get from defeating those bosses that are threatening, not necessarily difficult. It's, you know, Crucible Knights aren't, I mean, they are hard, but like, you know, once you've fought a few, they're not hard, but they're threatening as hell, you know? And you know, defeating Crucible Knight is always like, oh, I got him. Don't worry, I got this, sort of thing. And all of these bosses in Elden Ring are just designed to be difficulty overload, where you have to dodge 75 times before you get one swing in Retribution. And that's not what Dark Souls bosses are. And I am taking Dark Souls 3 as like the benchmark here, because Dark Souls 3's bosses are the best. Because Dark Souls 3 bosses, there's a rhythm, there's a dance to it. Dodge 1, 2, attack. Dodge 1, 2, attack. Dodge, dodge, attack, dodge, dodge, attack. You know, it's stuff like that. This game, it feels like you're just waiting your turn for years before you get one measly swing off. And that's just annoying to me. we'll discuss it when I start the Dark Souls 3 playthrough. That'll be next week though. But yeah, for now, this has been your probably more than usual tilted tier list. I will see you in the Dark Souls 3 playthrough starting next week. Goodbye.